After years of training and dedication to a single sport, post-Olympics life can be a big change. Former Olympic figure skater Sasha Cohen spoke with Ann Thompson about life after the Olympics.
On the ice, Sasha Cohen cut a beguiling figure, winning the silver medal in women's figure skating at the 2006 Olympics. She thought she'd seek her future in Hollywood's bright lights, but she finds business more to her liking.
Ice skating has always been white and black and beige. That's an S and that's a C.
Cohen is designing her own line of figure skates in New York's Flatiron District.
We're making it high-end and glamorous, and we're also opening up the skating world to so many people by making an affordable, high-quality skate. So it's fun to be able to work both ends of the spectrum.
This native Californian is now a New Yorker with her sights set on Wall Street. At 27, she's going to college, studying financial economics at Columbia University. Cohen says the thrill of the markets is the closest thing she's found to the thrill of the ice.
It's similar to being an athlete, that it's important every day. When you wake up, there's something going on, and there's always something to analyze. It's a competition. It's anticipating, predicting events. It's keeping your cool when other people aren't.
With school out, Cohen keeps her competitive fire stoked.
All right, nice job.
Getting together with a group of former Olympians, figure skater Tara Lipinski, speed skater Joey Cheat, and mogul skier Jeremy Bloom. And yes, she is watching the Summer Games and remembering.
When you step away from it, you appreciate the sacrifice, and you appreciate how much you inspire other people.
Forever an Olympian, Cohen now uses her past to build a future. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
And Olympic figure skater and 2006 silver medalist Sasha Cohen joins us at Post 9 this morning. And Sasha, watching that tape and having spent some time with you recently, I've got to ask you first and foremost, you've been watching the Summer Olympics. What have you been watching, and what have you taken away in terms of your own strength that you see with some of the competitors right now?
I think as a former skater and gymnast, my heart is always with the gymnasts, and they're so incredible, so poised, and at such a young age to handle that pressure from the world and perform tricks that we can't even imagine our bodies doing. It's definitely my favorite sport, and will probably always be.
The physical training is one thing. Obviously, you spent hours and hours doing the physical training. The mental training, both in your sport as well as probably in all the sports, how do you train yourself to have the mental strength that is necessary to get to that part, to be there on that stage? I
think that as you grow up from the age of 5 years old, being in the spotlight, having expectations, sacrificing your life, and knowing that you are your bottom line, and no one's going to pull you through. And as you grow up into that, and then all of a sudden you're in an Olympic spotlight, you thrive under that pressure, and you work for it, you love it, and you like life that means something. You like the highs to be to the ceiling and the lows to be, absolutely devastating, but every day has intensity and purpose. And I think that's what I love so much about finance, is it's got that same beat.
Yeah, you had to make a decision where you said, look, I've made my money as a skater, right? And I'm now going to decide college, career, why business, why Columbia, and what's the goal? What's the end game now?
I've toured and competed for 15 years, and I was on the road 8 months a year, and I could never go to school. And a year ago, I moved to New York, and I wanted to go to Columbia. And this last year was crazy. I would go to school during the week, tour on the weekends, take red eyes back Sunday, walk into class like this. But I also love finance, and I followed gold since I was 16. And
gold as a commodity.
Yes, right? Yes. And then as I have learned more and watched, the crash in 2008, and then seen sideways markets for the last few years, it's really sparked a lot of different interests in how to invest and what the future holds and the best way to navigate through these markets. And having earned most of my income already and not knowing what my next career is going to be, I have to invest as if I'm retired. And that's why, I've taken a liking to dividend-paying stocks with low betas that really have provided good returns. And I really feel that going into the next 10 years I'm not going to say they're going to outperform growth, but I think they're a safer bet, and I'm not in the mood for too much risk.
Now, Cole, Sasha mentions the dividend-paying stocks. She mentions that because, and I must tell you, she came out to headquarters a couple of weeks ago, and I had done a segment that day on how the dividend trade may be overcrowded. Mm-hmm. Now, A lot of people come out.
Don't tell me she changed her mind.
No, a lot of people come out, and a lot of people have strong opinions. And you know, those Wall Street strategists, they never back it up with anything. She's backed it up. You mentioned the dividend-paying stocks. Why specifically we know that almost every firm is recommending them. You had a great point in terms of why you think high income producing securities is still a place where you want to be. Tell us why.
You mentioned that they might be the next bubble, but if you really look at the fundamentals of these companies, they don't have inflated PEs like, you know, during the tech bubble. And if you get a diversified and uncorrelated kind of string of positions, and you get into certain sectors that aren't cyclical, that, you know, like Johnson & Johnson, PG, Kraft, like these are companies that are not going to go out of business, that people are still going to buy during a recession. They have a lot of cash on hand, and they've outperformed, you know, in the last 6 months. And I feel very strongly, you can't pick one stock. You have to be across sectors. And I personally have things like AT&T, Verizon, Altria, Kraft, and also across healthcare like Kimberly-Clark and Eli. But I also love mortgage REITs, and I know they're a little bit more risky, but I feel like there's a position for, you know, small parts of your portfolio, like AMTG, if you look at, has been a huge performer this year and paid out a really handsome dividend, I think close to 15%.
I'm just curious, you know, everybody's talking Gabby Douglas, and of course we'll see her tonight on the Uneven Bars, 16 years old, at the beginning of what we hope, obviously, for her sake, will be a lot of money making and deals. Best advice to someone like that? Are there lessons that you had to learn the hard way?
Definitely. I say, you know what, love this moment, because this is the beginning of her life, and it will open so many doors to do whatever that she wants to do. She will be a hero and a role model for so many young girls coming up. And, you know, when I was coming out of the Olympics, I loved, you know, giving public speeches and just being a role model and embracing everything that is, and then using that to grow and develop your other interests, because there's the rest of her life ahead of her. And she has the ethic and the determination to accomplish, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of wonderful things ahead for her.
You know, the competitors who had to face Sasha on the ice, you know, knew she was a tough competitor. I'm going to tell you, you don't want to be on the other side of the trade with this young lady, because she knows her stuff, Carl, and she's got exceptionally good insight for a second-year business school student.
Cohen Capital Management.
Yep.
I can see it now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to give her my resume right after this. All right, Sasha? Good to see you.
Thank you for coming in, Sasha.
Thank you so much.
Great
Pleasure to be here.